Hi, my name is Michael Gonzalez and I'm the founder of Fittea, sold over $100 million worth of products on e-commerce, and I want to talk to you today about the entrepreneurial journey through mental health and how it went for me. So let's break this down into the entrepreneurial journey over 8 years. So in the beginning, when I started Fittea, I had graduated from UCF with a business management degree, had small side hustles, but I had to program this thing. You aren't born with a manual of how to manage your emotions, how to manage your thoughts, how to manage your feelings and your thoughts of the future, and how to set goals and how to really motivate yourself to take massive action towards your goals. So for me, the beginnings of Fittea was filled with entrepreneurial books like The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, Gary Vee videos, because Gary Vee was blowing up on Wine Library TV, and Tony Robbins and Napoleon Hill, and I was just breathing higher level achievement type books and videos every single day. I was obsessed. I was on Tim Ferriss's blog. I was constantly watching YouTube videos, just breathing goal settings and just constantly programming my brain on I can believe in myself to take the actions necessary to create something. And that's really the number one barrier for 90% of people, is that they're not willing to first invest into the knowledge base mental programming of putting yourself in a state of higher level of achievement, higher level of body actions, how to manage your self-beliefs. You know, the self-beliefs is a complete hard thing to really program yourself into believing that you can achieve XYZ, right? What a mind of a man can conceive and believe he can achieve. That was from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. One of the most classic books. If you've never read that book, I highly recommend it. The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. The idea of like one man only having to work for 4 hours a week was like this dream of mine, right? Even though it ended up being where you work way more when you get to a higher level of success. But let me not digress to the beginnings of Fittea. So I feel like the journey goes like as follows. The beginning was like programming my brain for higher level success, telling myself I can do it, doing all the knowledge-based work, all the belief work, all the programming of my brain. I was at the library all the time. You have access to the United States public library system. Dude, you can literally have access to any book for free. They literally will ship it to your house. So there's no excuse in America if you do not, obviously you can order it from Amazon, but if you don't have the capital means, the library is a perfect place. I still get library books and I have had really financial success in my life. So there's nothing wrong with, getting a book from the library and learning about how to program your brain for higher level success, how to program your brain for building a business or whatever your goal is. And so the journey was programming my brain for action, how to have positive mindsets, how to have self-beliefs, all that XYZ, right? That was the beginnings. And then success comes. Success is a really strange drug. I tell people all the time, success is a drug, because once you get success, there's nothing like it. You're gonna be hunting that for the rest of your life. When am I gonna ever create another brand like Fittea from nothing? I had 10 grand to my name, and that spark, Wiz Khalifa talks about it, that spark is so special, there's companies that have billions of dollars and they won't have that singular spark that I had for Fittea, because I had a moment in time in marketing where 10 grand, I shouldn't have been the one creating that type of marketing in its infancies, right? I wasn't the first, but I definitely was the one that really took influencer marketing at scale in a very early time when nobody was doing it, right? Obviously, there was a lot of characters in that story, but I was the one that, if you go back to 2013 and, fast forward to 2016, to really double down on it, right? But there's companies that had billions that weren't doing it. Billions, and I only had 10K. You know, I was a nobody. So that spark of success is a once in a lifetime. I'll never achieve 10 grand to $100 million worth of sales again. It's never going to happen. So that level of success, that feeling of achievement is like a drug. So I want to share the mental hurdles that happens when you get that level of success, right? So number one, your ego is something you're gonna have to really work on. Number two, the financial gain is not for everybody. That financial jump from, you know, having only 10K in your bank account to having millions of dollars in your bank account is an extreme mental, again, I don't think humans are meant to manage millions of dollars, millions of things. I don't think our little primitive reptilian brain is meant to be managing these type of numbers at a long-term scale, right? So it's a really strange experience because number one, you're so happy because you made it, right? Like this is what you've been working on. This was what your goal setting was. This is why you worked so hard and now you achieve it and now you achieved it. So on a personal sense, there's no way, there's no way you're gonna top this, at least in a sense of 10,000 to a million, right? 10,000 to 5 million. You're not gonna get that level of growth again. So it's kind of a lonely, quiet top. You get to that ceiling of whatever that is, and your ego is really strange. It's easily bruised if anything doesn't feel that type of level of jump again. The second thing that happens to your ego is that you think you cannot fucking fail. You think that because you had this level of success, you can do it again everywhere, but that's impossible. That's not achievable long term. To have that spark, like Wiz Khalifa talks about, it's special, it's a moment. That spark is not always gonna come so easily, and that also leads to you thinking, oh, I can do it again. I can do it again easily. And it won't be as hard this time because I did it before. Actually, it's even more harder. The second time around, it's more harder because guess what? Now you have ego. Now you think you missed a millionaire. You think you're gonna spend millions to do it again. And now the millions, that bracket of expenses is not like in the 10,000. In the 10,000, you're so careful, 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 100 bucks. When you're talking hundreds, 300s, 500s, a million, like those numbers are not as fast as it comes in unless you're doing something illegal, unless you're scamming. Now you have to fight to get money. It's a different experience once the money gets bigger. Now, don't get me wrong. Financial success is amazing, super amazing. But it's just on the mental hurdle, on the mental health, it really can cascade in here because you think you can't fail. And then when failure does come, which I want to talk about here in a second, before I digress, I want to still talk about the success. We talked about the beginnings of building your mental health, getting there. The other part is you stop doing the mental workouts that you did when you were trying to get to success. And I think this is the fallacy of success, is that you no longer work on yourself, you no longer do the exercises, you no longer do the belief work, you no longer work on your self-beliefs, you start to react to everything. And that reaction adds to your spirit, to your nervous system, to you getting anxiety disorders, panic attacks. It leads to a place where you're no longer working on your mental health, programming this beautiful computer that God has given all of us, and you start to get lazy, right? You start to get lazy on the reason why you got success. So again, you're at a point where you think that you can't fail. You can't fail. There's no way you can fail because you already did all this before. Now you're not working on yourself. You're no longer programming your brain for success. You're no longer achieving the level of success. And now everyone around you changes. It's inevitable. Money, success comes with static electricity. It's like you're a moon. You are carrying your own gravity. You're walking around with your family and friends, and everyone is now looking at you like you have this level of success, we need to get some of that radiation. We need to get some of that gravity, whether that's financial, whether that's knowledge, whether that's help. And everyone is gonna come with their own ninja things of what they want. And that'll have side effects to your mental health too. Because honestly, if I could go back in time, I would have focused on Michael Gonzalez. I would have been selfish. I'm a very giving, empathetic person. I love to help people. But the problem is, again, when you're at the $10,000 level, there's no one trying to really suck out everything out of you. But when it's in the $1 million level, everything is very big. And it's almost inevitable. If you get super high level of success, there will be loss of friendship. There will be people that take advantage of you. There will be people that come in with this behind their back and this in the front, the smile of the friendship, the overall, and it will trick you because they will play you based upon the radiation of the other people, right? So they'll figure out your family, they'll figure out your immediate friends that weren't business people, and they'll take advantage of that little piece that you don't even realize. So, I don't want to digress too far into like thinking about friends and family with success, but that comes in with the hurdle of the mental health, You stop working on your mental health. You stop doing the things that are important. And you take more risks because now you're trying to beat yourself from the past using the success and money that you had from this business, right? So you push harder, you decide that I'm gonna swing for the fences. And in reality, you should be doing the opposite. You had success, you should take like a year off. Like you got millions, you have a business that's functioning. Like you should double down on what's working and actually take on less. Less is way more. I did the opposite. I was like bigger. And obviously people know me as this guy that created Fittea because of my big mindset. And I don't want to say that it's not important to go for it. That's not the messaging I'm having here. My messaging to you is that once you achieve a certain level of success, it's okay to take your foot off the throttle. It's okay to enjoy your success for you. I'm literally looking at the camera because I want to message my own self. I wish I can go back in time and tell myself this intimately. It's okay for you to slow down, take a breath, enjoy the moment. Do not grow. Do not create another thing. You do not need to beat yourself. You do not need to make $10 million more on top of the $10 million you already did. You can take a year off, a whole year off, and live conservatively. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to spend millions. You have nothing to prove to nobody but yourself. And if you can take that little ego monster and put it away and just humble yourself and just relax. I understand if there's bills, I understand. But if you get to a level of success, focus on the best that you can to cut off as much as you can and slow down. And really, instead of doing the mad dash of like, I need to get another billion-dollar company, that mad dash sometimes is not really what's rich to you. This is a really important question. And I want to ask you, the viewer, what is rich to you, right? Rich to me is not having to deal with any type of business. Rich to me is having a predictable income where I don't have to deal with assholes. Like, think about that. The bigger you become, the more your income becomes unpredictable because there's going to be more costs, more association, more risk, more bigger. And then on top of that, typically there's more assholes, more problems, more lawsuits, more issues. And then you start to fight all those things and then bam, you got a panic attack, which happened to me. I was growing. I was drinking energy drinks. I was exercising like crazy. I didn't give my body no rest, no sleep, party at night, drink every day. Literally burning on all ends, using this thing, trying to fight my success of the past, which was a blessing. You know, the blessing was the reason why I got that spark. It wasn't me. I always like ego, thinking, oh, it's me. But it was really, you know, in the end of the day, you have to figure out what's rich to you. I didn't want the Corvettes. I didn't want the Lamborghinis. I didn't want the watches. So I could have slowed down, you know? So what my recommendation to you is figure out what's rich to you. Really define what is success, because sometimes you miss it. You miss it. You have it and you miss it. Even though you know, don't let me get me wrong, you know you have success because you're acting egotistical. You're like, oh yeah, I'm a bad motherfucker. You know what I mean? But in reality, you should be relaxing on a beach with a drink and hire people to run your business that are good. Relax a little bit. Take a year off. Take 2 years off. Why? You can put that foot right back on the throttle in 2 years if you have a certain level of success. You know, this messaging is not to say not to achieve success. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to give you life lessons. I'm trying to tell you what happened to me, you know. That run dash craziness led to a panic attack, led to an anxiety disorder, which, you know, ultimately I had to take 2 years off. And I was still working, but it wasn't at Michael's full capacity. Even though I don't have no regrets, even though I'm very blessed that what happened to me happened when it happened, because now I have no fear that I can't achieve high level of success, do high level of business, and not be fearful of panic attacks, anxiety, because I know what they are now. I know how to define them. I know how the body works. I'm educated. I'm also practiced and seasoned and fully favored. I understand what it means to handle anxiety. What is anxiety? You know? What is a panic attack? What is those feelings of uncertainty, fear, doubt that you are experiencing? You know, anxiety is a very big thing that happens to everybody every single day. But some people get to a certain point where it's way worse. When I went through my disorder, you know, I didn't know what general anxiety disorder meant, you know. And I was very fortunate to, after 6 months of searching, to find Dr. Clara Weeks, Hope and Help for Your Nerves. Look that up on Amazon. She's an angel. If you also want to look up on YouTube, Wonder Bro. He's a coach for anxiety and panic attacks. Wonderful guy. He was my coach. He practices and uses the messages of Dr. Clara Weeks in her work. And I implemented the acceptance method and I healed my nerves. And I practiced every day, because every day is another opportunity to practice on how you handle your anxiety. Do you accept it or not? Those are literally the two choices. Most people that get anxiety don't accept what's happening to them. But I don't want to go too deep into anxiety. I'm going to make a whole nother video about purely my experience with my disorder. But I just wanted to talk just intimately with the audience about what happened to me, what I feel like, what success is. You know, you get so many different type of storylines, you know, in the beginnings. And now, let's fast forward. I feel like I'm enlightened. I'm in a different era of a businessman. Because I felt like when I was 26, I'm 36 now. When I was 26, I was young buck energy. I will never be 26 years old,